Well, a husband's love for his wife and his support of her battle against breast cancer has turned into a personal mission. So personal that this Van Buren man became a lawmaker and is doing something to help his wife and others like her. KWA's Gabriella Phelan shares their story.
He actually went to college. He wanted to do sports broadcasting. We discovered we had every class together, shared the same passions.
A chance meeting at the University of the Ozarks more than 20 years ago led to Tiffany and Ryan Rose tying the knot and making a home for themselves in Van Buren, Arkansas.
So one thing led to another, and we've been married nearly 20 years.
The two together have gone down many different paths.
He's also a pastor, and that wasn't something we ever saw happening either.
But there's one path they never expected to have no choice but to go down.
I had really long hair that I had been growing out for years, and it was down to my waist, and so I did lose my hair. I did get a double mastectomy the first time that I had cancer.
Breast cancer, a diagnosis that no woman wants to receive.
I was first diagnosed in November of 2020, and it was then that I received a life-saving mammogram that led to the early detection of a very invasive and aggressive form of breast cancer.
And even after beating the cancer once, it didn't end there.
I did chemo, surgery, and then I was in remission for almost 2 years. And then, unfortunately, it did come back.
Her husband, Ryan, says the fight for his wife's life was the hardest thing he's ever had to endure.
When you're fighting cancer, it is the single most difficult thing in your life at that time. In my experience, nothing has eclipsed that.
But the cancer was a calling they say they embraced.
Instead of asking, why me, our focus became, God, what is it that you want to teach us through this journey, and how can we use it to help others?
And now, after entering into remission for a second time, Ryan Rose took on a new calling to help others.
After I had completed cancer treatment the first time was when a friend had approached my husband about running for legislator. And so we prayed about this, and we just felt like God kept opening doors for it to happen. And so we just decided to walk through it.
So now he's on that path, introducing laws to help women just like his wife.
In this year alone, roughly 2,500 women in Arkansas will be diagnosed with breast cancer, and roughly 400 of those will die from the disease.
So he wrote House Bill 1309 to cut costs associated with breast cancer screenings.
I believe making breast cancer screenings more available, more accessible, and without cost restrictions will not only save costs, but it'll save lives. By diagnosing cancer earlier.
The bill was signed into law just days ago, a story of trial and triumph.
I knew that God would bring us through this, and so I'm just incredibly proud of my husband. He was a strong supporter and my rock through my entire journey with breast cancer, and I'm proud of him that he's using his voice and just advocating for other women and continuing to support me and others through this, and I'm just grateful.
That was Gabriella Phelan reporting that bill was signed into law on Wednesday by Governor Sanders. It goes into effect after the legislative session wraps up.